Ramachandra from the NR Hour Sports Show, back with another episode. Happy Wednesday, happy hump day. Another great day here. But today, I just want to introduce the panel. And first, we got our co-host Kia Lyons, Italy Jet in the house from the Everything Jets podcast. Go check him out. And then our good friend, Jeremy Fishman. He's trying to be a sports journalist also, so go check him out. He does great stuff too. And also today's guest, we have a special guest. His name is Tully Banta-Cain. He's a two-time Super Bowl champion. He went to California for college. He played for the New England Patriots, 49ers, and back with the Patriots for a second stint. Obviously a great career. And off the field, he's a singer. He's part of the Players Choir. Go check them out. They're on America's Got Talent. I think it was last year, right? If I'm not mistaken, last year. I made a video for them, and they did a great job on the America's Got Talent with the Players Choir. And what a great group of guys, former NFL players coming together, doing a great job singing. And I had a few of your teammates from the Players Choir on the show too. But Tully, thanks for joining the show. Fans, please tune in on iHeartRadio, Spotify, and Spreaker. We have obviously everybody knows the Spreaker app. You can ask questions to Tully. But Tully, thank you for joining us. It's truly an honor. We finally made this happen. How are you and your family doing?
We're doing great, man. I appreciate you guys having me. It's been a minute since we've been trying to get this to happen, but the universe just wasn't aligned. But now it is, so I'm happy to be a part of this.
Yeah, but before we go any further, obviously you played with Tom Brady. Today is big news today as he retired for the second time. Let our fans know. Obviously, you won 2 Super Bowls with Tom Brady, and what was it like playing with him? And what was your thoughts when he announced his retirement again today? And everybody thought he could have still played, but what are your thoughts and being his former teammate? And can you share some Tom Brady stories with us and the fans?
Yeah, I mean, Tom was one of my favorite teammates out of all my years of playing football, and I've had a lot of teammates. He's definitely in the top of those guys, and just showing up to work and seeing him in the locker room and seeing him on the practice field every day just made me want to do my job even better. Super competitor. You won't find a tougher competitor than Tom Brady. Every time I showed up to work, he was always there before me and was always there after I was leaving. So that always made me feel a little uneasy about that, because I felt like, damn, I should be doing more. So he definitely pushed the limits. And, I can go on and on about how great he was as a player, and everyone, has seen it and his great career. I am not 100% about the retirement, because I just had a conversation with someone about, he's been in the playoffs almost every year that he's played in the league. And he was, a couple games short of the Super Bowl this year. And I think the Buccaneers team just wasn't the same as it'd been in the past. And I felt like he could possibly make another run, either with the same team or a different team. But, if you play in the league, you know that a season is a long, long journey. And just to make it to the playoffs, I remember in my experience, you're almost like you're ready. You're like almost kind of want to lose in the playoffs just so you can chill out, because it is a grind. And especially if you make it all the way to Super Bowl, it's like, I want to hurry up and play this game and get it over with. Mm-hmm. But obviously you want to win the game. Obviously you're prepared and you want to do everything you can to make the most of the experience. But I think for Tom, I would say I'm 90% sure that he's retiring this time around, but it's still early in the year, and you never know, come June, July, he could get that itch again. And knowing the kind of competitor he is, I would never rule it out.
Yeah.
My thoughts exactly.
Exactly. I'll see it to believe it.
Before you got on the phone. Tully, tell us that I love to compare the start to the moment that you go pro. Tell us about your start in football.
So I started playing football in the 80s. I was 9 years old. I lived in a town called Sunnyvale in the Bay Area, Silicon Valley. Shout out to Sunnyvale. And I actually tried out for the Sunnyvale Black Knights, and I was a couple weeks late to practice. And the coach literally just made me run, do up downs, while everyone else was in pads, like practicing, doing football stuff. So I quit. I quit the team. and I decided football wasn't for me. It's just a bunch of exercise. I'm 9 years old. I'm supposed to be having fun.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And that team actually went on and won the championship that year. So, needless to say, I had my regrets about quitting, and I tried the following year. And I showed up on time, and I fell in love with the game. I grown up in the 80s in the Bay Area. We had the 49ers and the Raiders, and I was a big Niner fan, Joe Montana, Jerry Rice, all those guys.
Yeah.
I was just a storybook, fairy tale type of era for sports in the Bay Area. And so just even in the NFL in general, the Barry Sanders, the Deion Sanders, all the players from the 80s and 90s that I got to grow up and watch really influenced me to want to be a great football player. And so when I got to high school, I continued playing. I was an outside linebacker, tight end type, and I thought I was going to be a tight end. That was my dream, was to play tight end in college and maybe the NFL. I never thought I would make it that far. And so by my senior year in high school, I started getting looks, and I was getting letters from all types of colleges. And Cal seemed like they were the most interested. They were the closest in terms of proximity. And I always wanted to go to Berkeley. I love their uniforms. I wanted to go to Michigan because I helmets, and they just have the tradition. But Cal was like the next,
Wow.
I guess, thing in terms of uniforms. Not so tradition when it comes to football. But that's where I decided to go. And it was a rough 4 years at Cal. Never went to a bowl game. Never really had a winning season until my senior year when we got Jeff Tedford took over and had a big turnaround with that team and that organization. So it was a miserable time at Cal in terms of just like not winning a lot of football games. But I made a lot of great connections, played with a lot of great football players, and like Delta O'Neal, Kyle Bowler, Nnamdi Asamoah, Andre Carter. The list goes on and on. A lot of guys, too many to mention, that I played with, and that definitely was like a special time in my football playing career. And then my senior year, I broke the record in sacks, or single game sacks, at Cal, and I was a half a sack away from breaking the all-time season sack record by half a sack. So that one stung a little bit, but still up there in the annals. And I actually thought I was going to go like first, second, third round because of my stats. I went to the combine. I had, I think, the fastest time of all defensive ends that year. That was the same year. Yeah, they had Terrell Suggs came out that year. We had the same agent. He had like 22 sacks his senior year, but he had a terrible combine showing. We had the same, and we trained together. So I thought, I had a good shot at going first, second round. I slipped off seventh round. Still got drafted, thank God. And I ended up at the Patriots and win a Super Bowl my rookie year. So not making a bowl game all of my college career didn't matter after winning a Super Bowl in my first.
That's incredible.
And then my second year in the NFL, we won another Super Bowl. So winning back-to-back Super Bowls coming in the league was a pretty good start. We're actually at the 20-year, I want to say, anniversary of my first Super Bowl because it was back in 2003. Well, the game was in 2004, but that 2003 season, we're at that anniversary mark. So unless someone goes back-to-back, like who's going to the Chiefs and the Eagles, I don't see either one of those teams back-to-backing it. But you never know. The Eagles look pretty damn good. And so yeah, that was my career in a nutshell. Well, I didn't go on to talk about the Niners. I had a good run with the Patriots my first 4 years, won a couple of Super Bowls, made it to the AFC Championship and lost to the Colts. Even though we were up 21-3 at the half, we lost that one. And then after my fourth season with the Patriots, I had a pretty good starting. I was a starter, full-time starter in my fourth year, had a good stat year, and the 49ers decided to sign me in free agency. And that was like going from the penthouse to the outhouse in terms of organization. Not, I don't want to say anything bad because it was my dream to be a 49er.
Yeah.
But in terms of the facilities, they're not what they are now. It was still like the same facilities Bill Walsh and
Oh yeah.
George Seifert were using. So it was, and we just sucked. We just weren't really that good of a team. We had great players, but didn't make the playoffs either year I was there. So it was really tough. I got injured. So that was a rough couple of years. It was good to be home. It was a homecoming. I loved it. I'm so blessed and thankful to get to wear that uniform and play in the old Candlestick Stadium. But just in terms of winning games, just wasn't there. So I got to go back to the Patriots after that on a 1-year contract, put up a shut-up deal, and started my role in special teams. And then when I got my first crack at playing on nickel defense, I ended up balling out. I had 10 sacks, led the team, and I was a free agent after a 1-year minimum deal. So I ended up, looking back, I probably should have explored more options, but I decided to stay with the Patriots. And I played one more season with the Patriots and told myself I'm going to take a year off. And here I am doing an interview with you guys 10 years later. So I never got back on the field. But
hey, we're glad that you're here. We're glad.
So yeah, that's my career in a nutshell.
Wow. Yep. Amazing story.
Amazing.
I love that. So you're a 2-time Super Bowl champion, first team all Pac-10 in 2022. I know you talk about the Patriots, talk about how you love being with the 49ers, dream come true for you. But going back to those 2 Super Bowls, especially your first times in the league, how did it feel winning those Super Bowls? It's probably like a dream come true for you since you were a kid. Can you go through all that?
Yeah, man, that just that season was definitely a dream come true. Being in the NFL, playing with all those guys. I mean, I was the youngest linebacker in the linebacker room. We had Teddy Bruschi, Mike Vrabel, Ted and Willie McGinnis, Roman Pfeiffer, Roosevelt Colvin, Larry Izzo, Matt Chatham, and then there was me. And we also had Eric Alexander as well, who was another young guy. But so safe to say I was like the butt of every joke, being the only rookie in the room. And I was also injured in training camp. So I was put on PUP because I tore my groin squatting the first day of off-season training. So I missed all that training camp and no one really knew what to do. Plus I was a 7th round pick. So technically probably already on the bubble. But I was able to prove myself in special teams. And so that run to the Super Bowl, the playoffs, and just every game, because we started off that season losing to the Bills 31-0. They blew us out. And then the last game of the year was against the Bills, and we beat them 31-0. So that already was like added to the story. And then the Red Sox went to the World Series that year, broke the curse. So that was storybook in itself as well. And then the Super Bowl, oh my God. That Super Bowl was in Houston. I just there's so many, like, just from the pregame warm up to the practices to hanging out in the hotel room to the gift bags to all the celebrities that are around Super Bowl week. It was just like nothing I had ever dreamed of. And then, Janet Jackson whipping her titty out at halftime.
True. That's right.
Total flyaway. Love you, Janet.
Beyonce singing the national anthem.
Right.
Come on, like,
Yeah.
So yeah, it was a dream come true, man. And then just winning the game, the confetti falling down, the parade, just the whole going to the White House. I can't say enough about how dope it was.
Wow.
What about the second time you went? Second time you won, was that a little bit better for you, or still the same feeling?
It was the second time around was was better for me because I actually got to play more. My
Gotcha.
second, I was a little bit more of I could contribute more on defense. I had a couple sacks.
Mhm.
I had an interception.
Yeah, that's right.
I led the team in special teams tackles that year. So I was a little bit more of like a core guy my second year team, and it was just almost expected to win the Super Bowl. I just felt like we weren't gonna be a hungover team. We were gonna like keep that same mindset. Bill Belichick kept us humble. We brought in Corey Dillon. We just had like a good nucleus of veteran guys, and I happened to be a part of that. And so to win it against the Eagles was definitely a fitting Super Bowl 20 years to the day. No, but no, yeah. I mean, that was the year that I want to say did the Bruins win the World Cup that year? I mean, not the Stanley Cup. Something happened. I mean, that first 4 years in New England, I want to say that Celtics, every sports team in Boston won a championship.
Yeah. Bruins and Celtics in those 4 years you were there, did win something. Yep.
Yeah. So that was just being in New England, Boston. I really like fell in love with the time being there. I just felt like I was so blessed to be on that team with so great players and coaches. I just, I thought I was going to win a Super Bowl every year. So even my third year, we went to the AFC Championship. Was it the third year? No, third year we went and lost. We lost to Denver in the AFC divisional round. But I thought we were going to win the Super Bowl that year. And then the following year, we went to the AFC Championship. We're up 21-3 at the half. I thought we were going to another Super Bowl, and we would have beat the Bears in that Super Bowl. So, I was just spoiled out the gates.
I was actually just going to touch on that about you had to be spoiled after the first two. Was it weird not going to the Super Bowl for that third year in a row, especially it being your third year of your career?
It was weird. I didn't really know how to feel about it because it was just it was so expected. So just to get like hit in the mouth and like finally served up some humble pie because I hadn't been served it since college. It hurt to not make it again because we were just, I felt like a well-oiled machine and we had all the pieces put together. But just that Denver game, I think we had 5 turnovers in that game, and you're not in a game with 5 turnovers. So it's an unfortunate way to go out.
Yeah, so can you tell us, I want to go back to your 49ers days. Obviously, you guys had a stacked roster. Obviously, it was a struggle there, but you still had a talented team. And on the defensive wise, you got to play with Hall of Fame Brian Young. Can you touch on him? What was it like playing with him? And obviously, now he's in the Hall of Fame, a heck of a player and legendary player. And what did you learn from him as a defensive player? What did he teach you or tell you about the game?
Wow, Brian was just like every man's football player. He did everything right. He just had so much class. Just came to work every day, lunch pail, hardworking guy, played through injuries, just a tough, hard-nosed football player. I was actually shocked he was still playing when I got to the Niners because I remember watching as a kid. So I was actually like, wow, I forgot that he was like still playing. And so to be able to play with him and, watch him battle it out with Larry Allen, who was still in the league at that time. Brian just definitely a technician in the sport, some of the strongest, quickest hands for a big man that I've ever seen. His hump move was like resemblant of like Reggie White. He could just throw a guy to the sidelines. Super just brute strength, had scars all over the place, knee surgeries, elbow, this, that, and that, but still showed up every day, taped his fingers up and went to war, man. So that guy, you knew that you have to bring it to earn his respect. And so that was just one of my other like favorite teammates that I played with. We also drafted Patrick Willis that year.
Yeah, Patrick
And
Will.
so to see him evolve into the player that he became is not a surprise because he was just such a talent coming in, and he didn't start off as a starter right out the gates, but you knew it wasn't going to be long before he was a starter. I mean, he was the first pick. But yeah, that whole roster, man, like, yeah, you say Brian Young, but we had like Alex Smith, we had Frank Gore, we had Isaac Bruce,
Vernon Davis.
Vernon Davis. Who else was on that team? We had like Ray McDonald, Justin Smith came in my second year.
Walt Harris.
Walt Harris, Nate Clements,
Delaney Walker.
Delaney Walker. Yeah, we had some dogs, man. We had some dogs.
Big time dogs, yeah.
It's just the division was tough that year, and I think there was a big coaching change, the offensive coordinator change. Alex was struggling with some injuries. And so the team we could never really get off the ground. We had some injuries and lost some tough games early in the year that we never rebounded from. And so yeah, that was, like I said, I love being on the Niners and I love the players that I was there with, but it was such a fall from grace from being on the Patriots and having so much success.
I always love hearing about the families that come out with these superstars like yourself. I think it's amazing that you have cousins that are in the NBA and Major League Baseball. Tell us about that.
Yeah. So on my dad's side of the family, I did have some like first and second cousins. Rodney Rogers, who played for the Nets, and Wake Forest, had a great career in the NBA and then in college. Unfortunately, he had a pretty serious accident on an ATV that cut his career short and his life short. But I only got to speak with him on the phone and through a couple just like tell him I said hello type of thing. And when he was playing in the league, I was still in high school, in college. So he never got to like fully see or meet me during my NFL career.
Okay.
Jeffrey Leonard, who played for the Giants, the Hackman, I actually met him a couple times at family reunions. I met him at a barbershop in East Palo Alto once when I was just a kid. And so I haven't talked to him since, but I always had that chip on my shoulder with both of those guys that I was like, it's in my blood. I got family members that are in the pros.
Yeah.
I'm going to be a pro someday. So it was, I definitely used it as a bragging right and motivation.
I love it.
Love that.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
So yeah, it's cool now that I'm like the family member that my cousins and younger cousins can say that about.
Yeah,
absolutely. Now, do they aspire to be pros as well?
Yeah, I have a few cousins that played at a pretty high level. Some of them didn't pan out, but they probably could have. I have a younger cousin now playing at Eastern Carolina. She's a basketball player. Will probably make it to the WNBA.
wow.
Elise, keep an eye out for her.
What's her name, Tully? I didn't hear it.
Elise Cain.
Love that.
I have a cousin by the name of Thamus Falks, who's now playing at Louisville. He's a starting point guard, and he's definitely, I think, NBA bound.
Wow.
He's an up and coming kid. So, yeah, there's some family members that are definitely representing on the sports side of things.
Well, we'll definitely keep an eye on those too, and obviously, good luck to them, and we would love to have them for an interview later on when they're free. But man, that's awesome to have family members to play sports, and you guys can compete against each other or compete and make each other better, which is amazing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I beat my younger cousin in a one-on-one game in a game of 21.
Yeah.
Uh, in my Crocs. I was wearing Crocs too.
Whoa.
And but he was like maybe like 15 years old.
Wow.
I guarantee he wants to run that back now that he's next level baller.
Yeah.
Oh, I
Yeah.
bet he's gonna come collecting for you for sure.
Coming for me.
So, what is must-see TV for you right now in the NFL? Like, who's the player for you on defense?
Ooh, good question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did do an internship with the 49ers last year as a defensive line assistant.
Cool.
I was work with Nick Bosa.
Ooh.
Yeah.
You know, being able to see how he works firsthand.
Mhm.
Coach that he's coached under, Chris Kasarik. It's no mystery of why he's candidate for player of the year, defensive player of the year. So I'm always, when the Niners are on, I'm always checking him out on defense.
Mhm.
As like that would probably be my first go-to in terms of the players. And then, you know, without even having to watch, I know Micah Parsons is that guy whenever the Cowboys.
Let's go. Yeah. Micah Parsons. Let's go. There you go. There you go.
He's an exciting player. Definitely has a big future ahead of him. Probably a lot of money on the way too. So guys like that, I would say. I do like this kid for the Eagles, Hassan Reddick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A really underrated guy.
For sure.
And, you know, I don't know how, but he's just been causing problems all year.
Yeah.
And I like that kid even from the Jets. Was it Sauce Gardner?
Yep. Sauce Gardner. Yep.
Him and
My
I
boy.
like the tackle they got. Is it
Quinnen?
Williams?
Quinnen Williams? Yeah.
Yeah, they got some dogs over there too. That I think if they can get a veteran quarterback and get that kid Brees back, the Jets, I think they got some tools. So I keep my eye out on almost every team and see who's their best players. I play a lot of Madden.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
I'm always playing the Niners. So now all of a sudden everyone's plays with the Eagles now. So yeah, my evaluations from the digital aspect too.
Wow.
You make Kia really happy right there.
Yeah. We're gonna have a good week, Eagles.
Oh no, Patrick Mahomes.
That's right.
Do I do it? Do I do it?
Oh no, she did it.
No,
Oh no.
No.
Oh,
Just a little
man.
something for the week.
Well, Tully, thanks for being on the podcast. It's really been nice knowing you. No, I'm just
Yeah. Show's over. Italy Jet. That's a cue. Italy. That's a cue right there.
I cleared it. I
out my
cleared it.
ring 2004.
Oh my gosh, bust out the ring.
Yeah, where's the ring?
I forgot
Where's the
to ask
ring?
you, please,
Ooh.
Tully, let's see. I
Tully,
do.
where's the
I have mad respect.
In California.
Oh.
okay.
I'm in Rhode Island right now, Newport. So
Oh, cool.
my ring's on hand, but that would have been a good time to bust you out.
That would have been cool. That would have been cool. No, I've utmost respect. I do. Go Eagles this week.
So I'm a high school athlete, and I think one thing I've struggled with, and I know a lot of my teammates have struggled with, is accepting accountability and not pointing fingers, because nobody wants to mess up. And when you're on the highest level of any sport, obviously you know that you can't be pointing fingers. How did you deal with that and take accountability for when you messed up?
That's a good question. I mean, I would say be the first one to acknowledge it. Is always key. If you make a mistake, own up to it immediately. So that way, you know, everyone knows that you feel bad about it, but also don't let it be something that you dwell on, right? Everyone makes mistakes. You know, you jump offside on a play or you get a penalty, you know, you got to take that on the chin and say, that's my bad, guys. But at the same time, it's not like, oh, we lost because of me. You know, I'm seeing what's happening with that guy on the Bengals that was beating himself up a little bit about that last play against Mahomes. And there's a teammate like yelling at him on the way into the locker room. And
Saw that.
think, it's when it's a team sport, everyone can point the finger at somebody. And the best thing you could do is just, remember that, it's whenever you point, there's one pointing back at you. And if you just own it and stay humble about it, I think you'll be fine. It's just if you're the one that's pointing fingers or looking for someone to blame, that's what's going to deteriorate a team. So just be accountable for anything you do and take ownership of it, and you'll be fine.
Thank you.
Guys like that too. I like playing with guys that, even if they had a great game, if they made one mistake, they'll call themselves out. Like, I could have played.
Yeah.
So that's always a good thing to do.
Love that.
Yeah, that well said over there. And can you tell our fans about Coach Bill Belichick? What was it like playing underneath him? Obviously, he's he's funny during his press conference. He says one thing, or on to Cincinnati. That's his famous line. But what was it like playing underneath him? What did you learn from Bill Belichick?
Yeah, great question. I learned so much from Bill, man. He is just, I wouldn't want to say he's a player's coach, but he is a great football coach when it comes to learning the game, knowing what's expected of you. He really simplifies the game. A lot of people would think it's like a complicated thing, but it's really the other way around. He really simplifies how to play and just doing the little things right, and that'll equal out to the big things, making big plays and whatnot. But just a technician and knowing, hand placement, leverage, where to line up, knowing what the tendencies of the other team are, understanding like the three big components to winning the game. I know every week we would play somebody. He would have three things that he say, if we stop these three things, or if we do these three things, we will win the game. And almost, I would say 10 out of 10, every game we won or lost, we can always go back to those three things. Wow. And if one of them weren't in place, that's why we lost. So he simplified the game. His standard and his expectations were so high that you could just feel, even when he walks by you, you just know to like tighten up and make sure you're doing what you.
Yeah.
Has that aura of like excellence. You don't want to get caught slipping, doing anything foolish or joking around Bill, man. He watches everything, or makes you think that he's watching everything. Even like if I text message somebody, I'm like, make sure I don't say nothing crazy in my text message. Bill could be watching. So he was, one of those coaches that definitely kept the butt tight, and kept on the straight and narrow, man. You just don't want to get caught slipping out in the streets, drinking too much, getting in trouble, like, showing up late to practice or any meeting. Like, if that happens, you're not playing, and you're like back to the bottom of the totem pole. So took all of that stuff real serious. Those little things really matter to Bill. And it makes sense, because if everybody's on that ship and everybody takes their job seriously, you're going to get good results. And so that was a big learning experience for me, especially coming out of college. You're a young college kid coming to the program like the Patriots, high expectations, no nonsense. Guys can joke around, don't get me wrong. And it's not like Bill was completely monotone, but I mean, he's monotone even in his sense of humor.
Yeah.
You really don't see it coming when makes a joke. So, and that's the atmosphere that he puts out there, and it's got him a lot of success. So I have a lot of respect for Bill Belichick, man. And nothing I can really say bad about him. Other than, like, I know just from a business standpoint, that's the one thing. It's like, he's a tough bargainer in terms of wanting more money. Anybody that plays for the Patriots, even Tom Brady was never really the highest paid quarterback.
Right.
So that just comes with the territory. It's all about the team.
Yep.
And it's all about winning games and about the money. So
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I'm done.
I was just going to say the Patriots are known for being just such a high performance team. I'd like to go back and tag on to what Jeremy is asking, going back to teamwork. What do you feel really made, I mean, you have high performance, you have a great career. So as a team, what do you think, what attributes created that high performance unit, like that unity that you guys just had that same goal, same mission? What do you think about that?
I think it came down to just core values of the team itself, and I would say the biggest one was trust. You got to be able to rely and trust on the guys that you're playing with. You got to rely that they're going to show up on time to meetings. They're going to be there with a good attitude at work. Everyone's going to work hard. Everyone's going to study. Everyone's going to know their assignment, watch film, ask the questions, ask the wrong questions, whatever it is, like no stone unturned. Everyone has that mentality. And if you trust your teammates to have that mentality, it has just a high frequency effect on the team where, like, we can't be beat if everybody's on that same page. And I would just say that would be one of the biggest things that kept us, I would say, like a balanced team, like a unit, because you could look at anyone across from you in that locker room and know that, like, everyone's like, no one's slacking.
Yeah.
Right.
That's an incredible answer.
Mm-hmm.
Love
Man,
it.
I love that. Man, I love that.
I love it. It's trust. It's like that's your support system.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you feel more confident as a player that if the guy is doing his job, all I have to do is my job. That's it. If I do what I'm supposed to do, and everyone knows that that's what I'm supposed to do, and you do it, it's such a rewarding feeling. And Bill, that's the greatness of his coaching, is that he will reward you. Like, if you do what you're supposed to do, it's not overlooked. He praises his players. He might not do it in press conferences that much and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But when we're in meetings and stuff, he will give praise if you do your job and you do it like to the max. So if you don't do it, you're gonna hear it too. So that kept everybody in check and in line with what was needed.
Yeah, that hot seat.
Hot
seat, praise seat.
Oh, sorry. Before we go, so speaking of high school players, there's this one high school player I'm connected with. His name is Sean Williams. He's the number 2 running back in his town. He just committed to the University of Pennsylvania. So congrats to him. His name is Sean Williams. Keep an eye on him. Number 2 running back in his town.
Will do. Shout out to Sean.
Yeah.
Love that. Love that.
Yeah.
So you can go back to college too if you want. For college, even in the NFL, who is your favorite coach? Favorite coach? It could be, you can even name 1 or 2, but if you can name 1 or 2, who would be your favorite coach?
Wow.
That's got that good influence on you, that maybe father figure type of guy too, maybe for you.
Yeah. I'm really tough with favorites, man, especially when there's so many.
Yeah.
I mean, I would say Bill Belichick, obviously, because we had the most success, and I think he got maybe the most out of me as a player, other than my college coach, Bill Dutton, was just like, they need to make a movie about this dude. I mean, he was just an old school, you would think he was senile, 77-year-old ex-Marine, just hard-ass coach. Like, just the one-liners that he would use. We had a book of all the, like,
I love
it. Just old school, like old school leather helmet type of, like, one-liners that he would throw out there, and just the passion that he coached with, and just like, it meant so much for you to just be like, for him to just, make you like turn into metal. He just wanted you to be just a hard nose, run through a wall type of player. So because I was a linebacker, like I said, and a tight end, I was more of like a skill guy in high school. They moved me to D-line because I wasn't picking up the defense as a linebacker. And so they figured, let's just put him on the D-line, see how he does. He's really undersized. And I had a lot of finesse moves and quick moves. So that's what helped me excel at the D-line position, D-end. And he helped me make up for that lack of size and turn me into like a really tough, ready to like run through anyone's face with my forehead type of player, assassin style. So Belichick and Bill Dutton definitely had some of the biggest influence on me as a player.
Wow.
That's
So
a
you-
great answer. I'm looking him up.
Yeah, God rest his soul. He passed away a few years back, but
Hmm.
anyone who played under Coach Bill Dutton, Bill and Bill, will tell you the same thing. I mean, if you can find some of his old coaching tapes, it's entertainment.
Wow.
That's awesome. Wait, real quick. What's your thoughts on Coach Prime time, Dion?
What are my thoughts?
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's no surprise that he's elevating the way he is in the sport as a coach. Was a hell of a player, knows the game inside and out. And if you listen to his speeches, he's a hell of a motivator.
I love him.
And he knows how to touch the core of his players with his words. And I was a big fan of Dion, so the fact that his greatness as a player is pouring over to his greatness as a coach, I'm not surprised. And it's just a testament to his will to be the best.
Absolutely.
Now he has to. Now the big question: if he's gonna continue doing his theme music, what he did in Jackson State University.
Yeah,
He's my fave.
it's a different climate over there in Colorado, but Colorado's like, I want to say, like a liberal type of state and atmosphere.
They'll love him.
And
Bring that greatness.
are they going to win games? That's really what's going to come down.
What it comes down to, yeah.
And so I'm rooting for him.
So
Me too.
obviously you've been a part of some great winning teams. And I feel a big part of that is developing a good culture and staying in a good mindset. What was your pregame mindset and how did you like get in the mood for the game? Any like routines or anything?
Good question. A lot of it for me was music. I had a playlist of songs that would kind of put me in like a soldier mentality, like ready to just, die on the field, ready to just sell out completely, just full, just let it all go, no work, like leave it all out in the field, kind of mind state. And so a lot of it would be putting on the headphones, and then before every game, I would go like and lock myself in a bathroom and look in the mirror and like just talk to myself and tell myself like you're gonna own the day. Like this is all about you. Obviously it's a team game, but I was like, you gotta perform, you gotta dominate, nobody can block you. And I would just like try to reassure myself and confirm with myself that I couldn't be stopped. And that was one of my pregame rituals, along with eating spaghetti and meatballs before every game.
Yeah.
And then my dad would always, before every game, would pray for me, and we would do a prayer together. And then I would always make sure I talked to both my parents. My mom would, tell me, go out there and go give them hell. And but yeah, just I'd have a talk with myself, a talk with my closest loved ones, and then I'd have my music playing, ready to rock.
Wow.
I love that. I do that too, Tully. That is awesome to hear. I freaking love it. And I love the prayer. I'm always praying.
Oh,
That's exactly
Same
what I'm
here.
doing before every one of my
Exactly.
baseball games, is along with watching just like long home runs, and that's helped me. So
yeah.
It's great.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
Channel the focus, channel it in,
Yeah.
Speak it into existence.
like
Absolutely.
like Herman Edwards say, you got to play to win the game. So there you go.
Yeah.
The game. Another Cal Bear. Shout out to Herm.
Yeah.
Ooh.
But can you talk about, obviously in this football, obviously this generation, obviously a lot more rules changing, and I'm just curious. Do you miss like the back in the day football when you were playing?
Like being able to hit the quarterback with no regard.
Yeah.
Of course, of course. I mean, I hate the ticky tack stuff, but I have a son who plays football now, and I understand that injuries are a big part of the game, and the studies are starting to show that it's a bigger part than we would ever expected it to be. It shouldn't be that much of a surprise, but it's if we want to preserve the game and the players, player safety is really important.
Sure.
And so, of course, my mentality was like, it's like a killer mentality. Go out and like kill the quarterback. Go out there and hit him as hard as you can. Try to knock him out the game. Like that was the mentality. And I'm sure to a degree it still is now, but now you got to do it within the rules. And I think there is a level of, sportsmanship and knowing, you're not really trying to like hurt the guy. He's got a family to go home to, and you understand it from that level. But when you're in the heat of the moment, it's almost like a natural instinct to want to like punish the guy, cause the fumble, knock him out the game. So I do think that they're making the right strides in player safety, and I think it's good that players, they can still have the mentality, but just be more diligent about how you go about your business, and you can still make the money, you can still strip sack, you can still, the stat sheet doesn't care about how you tackle the quarterback. It just says sack. Say it was by breaking his ribs or giving him a concussion. It's just you get a sack, you get a sack. So that's I think that's great that guys are playing with that kind of alertness.
And also a great example, obviously Ryan Shazier, Eric LeGrand, and now obviously DeMar Hamlin. I'm just happy that DeMar Hamlin is fully recovered from his accident, and I'm really amazed, remarkable on how he improved. Obviously, he's talking again and sending videos on social media, which is amazing, giving us updates every day. And I hope he comes back on the field. But right now, his focus is just to be mentally prepared, and we're just hoping that he can get back on the field eventually, but just get his health back in order. And this is, to be honest, in my opinion, this is one of the most remarkable stories I've ever been part of covering and watching.
I agree, man. I've never
I
seen
agree.
Yeah, that just shows the power of prayer, man. And that thing could have all the way left. He couldn't. Just I'm so happy that he came to, and he's able to talk and express his appreciation and love for everyone that was supporting him. That was a scary moment for the game, man. And it's an eye opener, even as a father. To my son plays football. It's like I can only imagine how his family was feeling during that time. And we all felt it. So I don't know about him going back and playing if that's what he chooses to do. I'll be hoping the best. And it's just a freak accident. Those things happen. I've seen guys get knocked out on the field. I've seen guys break things, and it's just a violent sport. But that was something that didn't even look like that violent of a hit, and it still happened.
Right.
So it's those type of things that really scare you because anything could happen, and you never expect someone to die on the football field. And he was a heartbeat away from that happening. So I'm just really happy that he came through from that.
Amen. Me too. And I think that it was very important that it brought up a lot of conversations. And actually, I had this conversation when we did an NFL Legends event, Nathan and I. I was making sure that there's defibrillators, or how do you say it? Defibrillator.
I think
on all the fields, so that they can save anyone, and so now they've put them all over.
Oh, it's like standard. Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that's good.
Oh,
that's
ventilator.
Good.
Are you talking about ventilators?
I'm talking about
like the thing that's
the shocking thing.
Oh, the shocking thing.
Defibrillator is what it's.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, I know.
But that was important. So now that's it's getting they're getting installed where they're not installed. So that's good. Let's talk about. I think everybody here thinks it's pretty awesome that you sing. And is that can you tell us about that? Is that one of your keys to balance, like in life?
Maybe. I've always loved music. Music's always been a part of my life. My dad was a lead singer of a band, played the conga drums, played almost every instrument. So I grew up in, a household that valued music. I loved all genres of music. I grew up in the 80s, Michael Jackson fan,
Right.
all the greats from that time of music, and even before, the Marvin Gayes, you name it. Just there's so much good music that came out. I mean, I feel like nowadays music, there's a lot of talented artists, but it's a lot of overproduced stuff. So
Right.
music was definitely just at its core back then, and for me, like a very powerful outlet for me to like express myself. And I never really took it like that seriously in terms of like being like a big time artist or anything. When I got into the NFL, I actually started recording myself, and I think what happens to a lot of people, you start loving the own sound of your voice and started writing music and doing rap videos. And even Belichick pulled me to the side one day and was like, "Tully, are you going to be like a rapper or a linebacker?" Which
What did you
it's,
say to Bill?
I told him I'm a linebacker first. But I also
Okay.
felt like a little messed up because everyone has their life outside of football.
Right.
Randy Moss was in NASCAR. Logan Mankins was into like farm life or like doing stuff like tractors and stuff. Like everyone has their thing that they do outside of their profession, and just music happened to be mine.
Right.
And but because it's another form of entertainment and because it's somewhat ego driven, it can possibly distract you from what you're doing as a priority, in which was football. And I think he maybe thought that it was getting in the way, and honestly, it kind of was. I was spending a lot of time on it that honestly I wasn't gonna make it as like the next Drake or something like that. It was something I like enjoyed to do, and I've always enjoyed doing it, almost like a hobby. So last year's Super Bowl, and I put out some music. I've had a couple videos out there, and I'm still recording here and there. But a player that was in the same draft as me, Brian Scott, ran into me at the Legends Lounge at the Super Bowl last year, and we just caught up and exchanged info. And I said, "I'll talk to you later, man. Good seeing you." And then I'd say like a couple weeks later, he shot me a text and was like, "Hey, I heard you can sing, heard you do music. Would you be interested in being on America's Got Talent?" I was like, "Bro, like
What?
I'm good, but I ain't that good." He's like, "No, you'll be like in the choir. You just got to sing with us." And I was like, "Hell yeah, let's do
Oh
it.
yeah.
Why not? Life's
Pull
short."
the clip.
So yeah, like a month later, we're in Pasadena, rehearsing and doing our audition in front of Simon and Heidi
Yeah.
and
Wow.
Sophia. And we rehearsed like 2 days before the audition. And I mean, I sang that "Lean on Me" song maybe like 1,000 times before we got on stage, all of us, and we just became a unit as a choir. And those guys are really polished. So I learned a lot from the guys that are already in the choir, and we were able to get the approval of the judges and move on to the next round. And now we got over 1 million views on YouTube, and we're performing at the NFL Honors next week.
Oh wow.
Mm.
Let's go.
Congratulations on all.
So yeah, we did
Congrats.
some anthems this year. And
Congrats, man. That's
Tully,
awesome.
that is so awesome. How interesting is that you're and now you could call Bill and you could say, "Bill, listen, I'm at the NFL Honors, okay? So I'm bringing the two together." I love it. Life is so serendipitous. That's so cool.
Life is sometimes, but yeah, it's been just I never saw it coming. But I'm glad that my dad, rest in peace, that he brought me on stage a bunch of times when I was a kid, and he was, somewhat preparing me for that moment. So I'm glad that I've done music and that I'm familiar with being on a mic and being on stage, and it was a perfect opportunity to get involved with. And we'll see where we continue to take it.
Well, that's amazing. We can't wait to watch. I know we'll all be watching.
Yeah, well, definitely. Well, obviously,
I'm definitely 100%.
I've been watching the Players Corps for a while, and obviously, I made a video for you guys one day, and we had Coach Dwayne Wright on here. We had Brian McKinney on here. We had Jamone Brown. We had 3 of your cast members on this show, and it's just amazing to see former NFL players coming together, and it's just inspiring, and definitely you can dedicate the NFL honors performance to your father, to your late father, and we'll dedicate the show to your late father also. So,
thank you.
Yeah,
absolutely. He'll be there with you.
Yeah,
Love that.
Italy or Jeremy?
I'll go. So I think one thing about athletes that gets overlooked is mental health, and playing any sport at that high level, obviously you're faced with a lot of criticism. How have you over your career dealt with that? And even if you haven't dealt with it, if you struggled with it, how have you tried to overcome it?
Great question. You know, a lot of experiences that have happened to me, I've either had them firsthand or secondhand. You know, I did play with Junior Seau, and the things he told me numerous times in my talks with him was to find your peace. You know, he'd always be like, Tully, you got to find your peace. And
Right.
it's not necessarily your family. It's not necessarily any of those things, because then you're depending on those things. And can you find your peace when you're by yourself and it's just you? And that was very powerful to hear that coming from him. And then later seeing what happened, and that he was essentially saying that he was trying to find his peace. And so it stuck with me. And I think, you know, as a player, we go through a lot of different ups and downs and emotional roller coasters. And for me, it's always just been, you know, if I can go through this, I can go through anything. And there's been certain situations where it's like, I don't know if I can recover from this. And I do recover from it. And so it's always gives me the strength to lean on something that's bad that's happened to me that I've survived, to know that like really nothing can break me. And finding my peace is, you know, the ability to close my eyes and just let go of everything that's going on. You know, when I was playing and if I was going through a stressful situation, I would do the same. I would, like I told you about going into the mirror and talking to myself, but another thing, I would just try to close my eyes, clear my thoughts, and just empty my mind and allow myself to just be in the moment and not worry about any external things that are happening. And I think that's what a lot of players, they can get caught up in everything else that's happening in their world, and they lose sight of themselves, and they can make a decision that can cost them. And sometimes you just have to breathe and close your eyes and tune out all the noise, and just know that you can get through anything if you just wait out the storm. And storms, as we all know, the sun comes behind every storm.
Yep.
And so sometimes you just got to wait out the storm. And you could look outside and it's like, oh man, when is this going to end? It's never going to end. But summer is coming.
Right.
It's going to be popping in the summer.
Yeah.
So, you know, you just have to just get through them winter storms, man, and realize that it's not forever. Nothing lasts forever.
Right.
You got to
Thank you for that.
You got to come to Jersey, man. Come to the Jersey Shore during the summertime.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's go.
We'll party up. We'll party it up with Dara Reed also.
Is that where you guys are at in New Jersey?
Yeah, Jersey Shore, yep.
I'm in St. Louis, Missouri.
Oh, okay. That's party too.
I can come to Jersey.
Yeah, this summer, yeah. Let's get it in. I'm all about.
Yeah, so can you talk about we tried this yesterday with Nate Turner. I don't know if you know him. He's a former NFL tight end, running back. He played for the Bills. And I tried this yesterday with him, but he didn't bite. But can you tell a story? Can you tell a story that you haven't told anybody yet?
Oh.
And Nate didn't bite on that one either, huh?
We got the summer story too, which I love. We got a lot of good.
That's a story that I've never told. I can tell you guys how I met Michael Jordan.
Oh,
Oh,
I met Michael Jordan through Tom Brady.
oh,
So
wow.
I was
wow.
dating this girl who was working for Victoria's Secret. She was like she like was a publicist, or she was like a magazine organizer or something. She did something with Victoria's Secret. And there was a Victoria's Secret party in New York that she invited me to. And so I go to this party in New York, and like every Victoria's Secret model you can think of at the time was there. This is like, I want to say 2000, maybe 3 or 4.
Yes.
And, and it was popping. I'm like, oh my goodness, I made it. Finally made it. And
There
then
you go.
Tom was in the building, and Tom, I don't know if he was dating one of the girls at the time, but Tom was single. And once Tom saw me, he was like, Tully, come on. This is like my first time actually hanging out with Tom, like outside of the locker room. So I got a chance to like have a drink with this dude and like this party. So that was really dope. And then he was like, come outside. I got somebody I want you to meet. So I go outside, and lo and behold, freaking Michael Jordan.
Oh,
with Charles Oakley.
Oh, Charles Oakley too? Damn.
Charles Oakley and what's the other dude's name? Isaiah, not Isaiah Thomas.
Isaiah Thomas? Oh no. Oh.
No, it wasn't Isaiah Thomas. It was anyways, another like basketball great.
Oh.
And they're just chilling outside this limo. And this is like before like cell phones were a thing. I just had like my little BlackBerry or something. I had like a Sprint phone. I was like, can I get like a picture with you? And like, I don't even have that picture. Like, that picture is so old and grainy. Like, there's no proof of that picture that night. But Mike was like, hey man, you smoke? And I was like, I smoke what?
Right.
Had a cigar. He's like, you cigars, man, cigars. I was like, oh yeah, I smoke a cigar.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there chilling with Charles Oakley and Michael Jordan and smoking a cigar. And I'm like, man, Tom, I'm like, I'm just, maybe my second, third year in the league. I'm like, nobody yet. I'm like, wow. Like Victoria's Secret models, Michael Jordan, Tom Brady. Oh, this is it. And then Tom's like, all right, man, we're going to this other party. Invites me to this other party. It's like Derek Jeter's there.
Wow.
Bunch of like Yankees players, Terrell Owens.
Let's go.
Oh, wow.
The producer Timbaland was there.
It's amazing.
Like A-list celebrities, and it's just me. I'm like, what? How is this happening?
Right.
And so, yeah, man, that was like, that's when I kind of felt like I had arrived and like made it to heaven. And then later, a couple of years later, I saw Michael Jordan. He was at a Superbowl like lounge celebrity party, and he was in a booth, like surrounded by like media and like all these people wanting to get autographs, and he was just standing in like there was like a red rope that like nobody can get in there. And he saw me from outside the ropes and was like, is that Tully? Tully, get your ass in here. And told everybody get out. He had everybody
Michael,
get out of the freaking VIP and brought me in there just to talk to me. He talked to me for like 45 minutes. I had a clothing line time. And he I'm like, I called my dad and me. I was like, Dad, I just talked with Michael Jordan for 45 minutes. He kicked everybody VIP for me. I mean, and that's all because of Tom Brady.
Yeah.
So
I love it.
To this day, I guarantee if I see Michael Jordan, I haven't seen him since, he gonna remember for Tully.
Right.
So yeah, that's a story I never really told anybody. So
wow. Thanks for sharing it here, though.
Yes,
that was
that's
so
incredible.
cool.
I love it. He kicked everybody out and said, "Let's talk."
That's right. Little old Tully up in here.
That's so great. Italy, I think. Did you get your question, or is it to me? I think it's still you, right?
Yeah, it's still me. So Dang, Michael, man, that is
That's
because I think he's the GOAT still. I think even after LeBron, I'm still saying MJ's the GOAT for me. But I know people like to, especially athletes, like to think of their legacy after they play either in the NFL or MLB or anything like that. I don't know if you think about your legacy in the NFL or anything, but what do you want people to remember you by playing in the NFL and being an athlete?
Wow, that's a good question. I want people just to know or remember that I was uh, I was just a guy that believed in himself and never had any doubts about my ability. And because I was a seventh round pick, it didn't. I was never. I never thought of myself as a seventh round pick, and
Mhm.
so um, I just want people to think I'm like one of the most underrated football players to play, and um, hopefully I get my just due. And then in the future, you guys will see I am starting my own football league that you guys will be seeing pretty soon. It's a big celebrity football league. Um, so stay tuned for that. So people will also be able to say he went from player to owner, and that the guy was just an innovator and was a good guy, made his mark, was a great teammate, and just was full of love and respected everyone he came across.
Nice. I love
Amazing.
that. I love that.
Amazing. And I'll tack on to that with, when talking about the youth now, when the guys, the kids know to make clips, football clips, but what's your advice as far as their personal polishing and their high performance on and off the field? What's your advice to the kids?
That's another good question. I would say just be mindful of your surroundings and the people that you associate with yourself with, especially coaches, teachers. Try to build relationships with your coaches and your teachers, because you have to ask yourself, when no one's around, what would these teachers say about you? What would these coaches say about you? And these are the people that are going to speak on your behalf to the next level of that you're trying to get. When these college recruits come in, they go to the teachers and they go to the coaches. They don't go to you. They don't go to your. They go to these people, and what are they going to say about you? Are they going to say you're a hard worker, you study well, you basically show up on time, you do everything you're supposed to do? Or are they going to say you're a slacker, you're an underachiever, this, that, and the third? So you just want to make sure that when you're not obviously doing things on the field or on the court or whatever sport you play, that you're holding yourself up to a high standard even for yourself, and that so nobody can say something bad about you or see you in a negative light.
Great advice. Great advice.
Yeah, I
Good.
mean,
I love that.
as a high school athlete, I feel like that applies to me a lot. And even though I have no plans on playing past high school, I feel like just in life, that's great advice. So thank you for that.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Do you
I
have
think
time?
it's
Mhm.
Go ahead.
Do you have time for a fan Q&A?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we have this app called Speaker on my phone, so I'm gonna grab some fan questions here. The first one here, one of our fans wants to know, what's your favorite go-to meal? Obviously, it's a spaghetti, but outside of.
I love shepherd's pie.
Oh,
I'm sucker for shepherd's pie. I love Italian food, but some good shepherd's pie will never do me wrong.
nice.
Mm.
Another fan question. They want to know, what was it like? What was it like playing with Patrick Willis, because he brought the swag to the game.
Oh man, Patrick, man, he was he was a guy that let me know how old I was.
Yeah.
I thought I was fast and had all kinds of talent and skill, and then here comes Patrick Willis. So, I remember working out with him, and we would run sprints, and I'm like kicking it in my fourth, fifth gear, and he looks like he's jogging as he's passing me by. So that dude was just a freak athlete, and a great teammate. Played with a lot of passion, and Was just a leader even before his time.
Wow. Another fan question. They want to know what's your they want to know what's your Super Bowl pick.
That's a good one. From an eye test, I'm going to say the Eagles. I feel like the Eagles just from top to bottom have the better team. I can't name that many players on Kansas City's defense outside of Chris Jones and Willie Gay, and there's another guy, Clark.
Yeah, Frank Clark, yeah.
I can't even think of their DBs.
I think
Exactly. So that's why that's why with the Eagles all around, like I know guys in their secondary from Slade Jr. to Reddick their D line is nuts. Their offense is crazy. Their offensive line is crazy. So I feel like they have the better team, but I do think Kansas City has the better quarterback in Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how healthy he's going to be, but he's a more proven quarterback, and that ain't a knock on Jalen Hurts because he's on his way too, the way he's been playing. But yeah, I'm gonna go with the Eagles.
That's awesome.
Jalen Hurts is about to get paid.
And I'm just saying, my son's doing a report, Jalen, and you're his hero. So his hero, he chose Jalen Hurts. So
wow,
we got props for Jalen.
Oh, I like that.
Jalen, he's a class act too. I like him too. Yeah. He's not like over. I hate quarterbacks that like be dancing and doing all that extra stuff.
Yeah.
As a defensive player, I hated guys that would just over celebrate and stuff like that. Like Cam Newton, ooh.
Yeah, I can't take it when it's not our touchdown.
But if you're not on my team, I'm not feeling that.
Agreed.
We'll take two more.
Shut it down.
We'll take two more fan questions. One of them want to know who was the funniest teammate you played with? Funniest
teammate I played with. Well, I did play with Spice Adams in the Senior Bowl, and if you know Spice Adams,
yep.
Oh my goodness,
oh god.
Laughing, so I would definitely Spice because I played with him in the Senior Bowl, but I'm trying to think of anybody on the Patriots who was really funny. Who actually had a really good sense of humor was Randy Moss.
Oh wow!
I figured you would say that. Yeah,
I can see it.
Randy,
come on, man.
He was there. So I give that one to Randy.
All right, we'll take one more fan question. One of our fans wants to know, they're putting you on the spot, but they want to know where do you think Aaron Rodgers will end up?
Where I think, or where do I want him to?
Where do you think?
Both.
But they want to know where do you think? But you can say both.
He's a Northern California guy, so I'm gonna say the Niners.
Okay.
I think a great fit for his style of play, the weapons they have. It's almost a shoo-in. And I love the Brock Purdy kid, don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
Aaron Rodgers is just another level and a proven level of quarterback. Right. Obviously, the Jets, I see you over there, Italy. I know the Jets need a veteran quarterback, so it would make sense.
Right.
However, I don't know about their skill positions. I don't know who is he throwing the ball to over there?
Garrett Wilson, Elijah Moore, Braxton Berrios, Corey Davis.
Who?
Garrett Wilson. Oh, man, get out of here. I agree with you with the California connection, though, because he is from California. Like, I get that. I don't know. I feel like they're going to go Brock Purdy. I don't know. Rodgers, you just never know with him. I mean, we got Hackett, but that didn't work out because they got Wilson last time with the Broncos. So, I don't know.
What do you think about Zach Wilson? What do you think's going to happen to him?
I think with Zach Wilson, I think they'll still keep him for another year. But I don't know. I think he just needs to continue to develop. Our O-line didn't really do him any favors either because of all the injuries. But I still think that we got good weapons. But if we develop him better this year, you never know. You never know.
Okay.
Yeah, the what's it called? I had Tom Brady going to the 49ers if he didn't retire, but now that's so.
Well, we don't know. It's set in stone.
Yeah, but the 49ers will be waiting for him to come back out of retirement. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting. This all season is gonna be crazy, man. With all the head coaching carousels and now the free agents and quarterbacks, and Lamar Jackson's another one that they have to figure out too. And man, a lot
He's
of
great.
crazy situations. And
Right.
but Tully, before we let you go, what can you tell our fans where they can find you on social media and what do you have coming up next?
Yeah, you can find me at my name at Tully Banta-Cain, TullyBantaCain, on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter, I believe. And I don't use Twitter that much. And also check me out. I'll be doing you'll see me with the Players Choir. We'll be doing more shows in the future. And we may even be recording some stuff, album or single releases. I'm also, like I said, starting my own football league and an event. So I can't disclose exactly the name of it or what it is, but just know when you see it, you'll know it's me, and I'll be part of that headline. And then I'm also have a hat apparel company called DIF, DIF, which stands for Did It First. And that's coming spring and summer. A lot of straw hats with like dope, cool designs that you can't get anywhere else. So those would be, I would say, the big three. And then I'm also doing some private training out here in Rhode Island. If you're in the Rhode Island area, I run football clinics every Sunday.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, come to Jersey too. Also, we'll party it up.
Oh, I'm
Can't
coming.
wait for all of it.
I'm coming for sure.
And remember, Tully, you can catch Tully on the 12th annual NFL Awards on February 9th.
NFL honors.
Look for
Check them
him.
out. Yeah,
Tape it.
let's go.
Yeah. Yes.
So before we close it out, Italy, Jeremy, Kia, we want to tell about your social medias real quick.
Yeah, sure. You follow me, Italy Jet, on all social media platforms. I do 9 to 15 shows a week on Let's Talk Sports. I do a couple with NR Hour a couple times, 3 times a week, which is awesome. You do a great job, brother. And then I'm always around with Jets content. I do West Ham content as well, and I'm very passionate about being Italian. So you can follow me on the Italian circuit. But yeah, that's me, Italy Jet.
You can follow me on Instagram at JeremyFishman_, on Twitter, JeremyFishman2. Right now coming up, I will be covering my own high school baseball team after every game with articles for my school newspaper. So I'm excited for that.
Woo.
Love it.
Excellent. And I'm Kia Lions Heart on Instagram. I do branding and personal development. And then I have High Performance Consulting on Instagram. And that represents different stories of high performance and success, representing diversity, inclusion, community, and unity, public speaking events. And I also have platinum prints and custom apparel design. So, yeah.
Check it out.
And speaking of football leagues, our friend Jiggy Mike could use you for his football league. We'll get you connected with Jiggy. And he runs a football league, which you might be interested. I think Italy is called the Fan Control League.
Yeah, it's something like Dragon something. Isn't something like that? Legions of Doom.
Yeah.
Legions of Doom. There you go.
Yeah. We'll definitely get you connected with him.
Tully, I can't wait to see the uniforms. I can't wait. I mean, hire me as the designer. Let's go. Let's do some uniforms. Sounds amazing. And I'll help with the straw hats. I do all different brands.
Oh, love it. Yeah, I will be in touch. You got it.
And shout out to Dr. Ali, Muhammad Ali legacy that I represent as well. She was with Tom Brady for his opening this week. So that was cool too. Shout out.
Yeah. Are any of you guys going to be at the Super Bowl next week?
I will not.
Not this year, but I should be.
We're trying to go this year, but I don't know. For us, is a not definite. But I wanted to cover this, but we put a request in too late, so I don't think we're going. But maybe next year. But there's this. Do you know
Vegas.
this?
It's in Vegas next year. Might want to save it for that.
Yeah, there's a former NFL player, AC Costco, if you know him. He's been inviting me for his VIP parties the last 2 Super Bowls, but I couldn't go. But I'm thinking of going to his VIP party this year, but I don't know yet. It's in Arizona.
What's his name?
AC Costco. We had him on our show.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, he is there. And then the Fanatics is going to be a huge music party. That's going to be awesome. Michael Rubin's party. And then Dick and Jaws is going to be sweet too,
Yeah.
in case we get there.
But,
I have school the next
already
day, so I'm not
stalking
going
it.
anywhere.
Yeah.
but
I'm getting two teeth pulled, so I can't.
yeah, so Tully, our team is also part of this foundation. It's called the Hugh Jackson Foundation. You know him, former NFL coach. He's now coaching at Grambling State University, and we're trying to help him prevent human trafficking and making sure the community stays safe and everybody stays safe. So we'll send you the foundation to you and your family so you can go check it out.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I'll look for that.
And the last thing here, I always mention the nurses and doctors and essential workers. Would you like to say anything to them right now?
I just appreciate everything you guys do. You know, I don't know what this world would be without you guys, and just continue to do what you do, and so appreciative. Thank you.
Yeah, well said. And there you have it. Two-time Super Bowl champion, Tully Banta-Cain from the New England Patriots. He also played for the 49ers. He went to Cal University for college football. This guy is a real deal. Go check him out with the Players Choir. They're going to be performing at the NFL Honors next week. Man, that's going to be amazing. I can't wait for that. Everybody tune in. Obviously, that's when they're going to be announcing all the awards to these players and coaches, and they're going to be part of it. So go check out Tully and his teammates from the Players Choir. But thank you again, man. This was awesome. And like I said, we'll stay connected. And let me know when you come to Jersey. We'll hang out.
You got it, man. Thanks for having me on. Nice meeting all of you guys, and look forward to seeing you guys in the near future. Good luck with everything.
Thank you for
You
everything.
too, sir. You too, sir. Thank you.